Welcome to Toffee TV. It's the Daily Live Extra. Dwight McNeil is nearly in the building. I'm sure he's in the building.
He is in the building.
I'm sure he's in the building.
Hasn't been announced, yeah.
It's just they haven't leaked any YouTube videos about him yet either. But so that one looks like it's done. Second signing in a couple of days. I'm sure they'll be at Goodison tomorrow for the game against Dynamo Kiev. Have you got your ticket, Baz?
Yes.
Were you sitting?
Park end.
I'm in the park end as well. Yes, we've gone full Tory.
Full park end. No, do that thing. I seen Lee had put something on Twitter the other day. It was like, for friendlies, you try and get your own seat, or do you just sit somewhere else? And I was like, ask Zach where he wanted to go.
You want a bit of strange for the friendly, don't you?
That's it.
You want a bit of strange for the friendly.
So, you know, we had to go for the Brentford game, the FA Cup, we were in the Upper Gladys. So for this one, we're in the park end.
Yeah,
I've not been in the park end for years.
I haven't.
So, be interesting.
I haven't.
Mr. Blaine, are you in the park end tomorrow night?
No, we're going to see Shakespeare.
Oh, yeah, you're already previously booked.
Fair enough.
Yes.
Season tickets there.
Yeah. No, I know season tickets today. So, yeah, park end for us tomorrow. It'll be interesting.
Good stuff.
Dwight
good
McNeil run down the wing.
Really be though.
He's announced today. I imagine he'll be in the squad, won't he?
And lots and lots of rumours over the last 24 hours about Ross Barkley. Putting pictures back on his Instagram, putting the diamond on his Twitter profile.
And his Insta profile.
Yeah, and we've just been having a little discussion in here, isn't it? You know, certain people think it's strange. I don't think it's strange at all. I think that this is a lad who's definitely trying to gauge reaction, or his agents probably said to him, let's play nice and see how it works out, on whether Evertonians want you back and whether that could be something that could move forward. If his name was Wuskaki and he was German, and he was a 29-year-old playing for Chelsea, and he was an ex-international, would he be someone, if you could get him on maybe a free transfer, would you maybe look at him?
It's the age, isn't it? He's 28 at the moment. He left us 4 years ago. Yeah, I was talking to John about this morning, saying the worst thing about the whole Barkley thing was he was ready. He was ready to sign his new deal.
Yeah.
And then Koeman, for some reason, made it his goal to call him out and fall out with him. And then the agent then got the wedge in there then, because obviously he wanted their wedge. And then what fell out from that was, obviously, he ended up doing the club out of a lot of money, which is why a lot of people are upset with him, and rightly so. But Everton bought players who, in my opinion, weren't as good as him. You know, and that was a bit strange. But now, he's gone to Chelsea. We knew what had happened. What happens with a lot of younger players when you go to Chelsea, never getting in. That's just such a volatile club that somehow is still successful, which is mad. And he's had loan spell at Aston Villa, which started off really well, and then petered out. Then last summer he was mentioned with coming back to Everton, and it didn't happen. He stayed at Chelsea and still managed to score against Liverpool, I think, in one of the games and stuff, but hadn't really done much for Chelsea. He's got a lot of things Everton don't have in midfield. We do miss him. We have missed this kind of player. Is that enough to bring him back?
Do you think that the fact that he hasn't played that many, I know you said he was 29, do you think the fact that he hasn't played,
28 years,
do you think that he hasn't played because he hasn't played loads of games, therefore it's not, you know, he's not
really 28.
He's not someone who's played, no, I mean, of course, yeah, but I don't look at players' age as the definite reference. I look at how many games they've played through their career, you know, and players look at like Raheem Sterling going to Chelsea, he's played like 500 games. Something like that. So therefore,
he's 27.
He's played so many more games, but he's going to have so much more fatigue on his body. You know, we've seen this with players previously, like Wayne Rooney, like Michael Owen, who start really, really young. Ross Barkley didn't really get going until he was like 21 because of the injuries he'd had. And then he's gone to Chelsea and he's played a massive bit part. So I just wonder whether, in cumulative, the actual games he's played, whether physically he's still got a lot to give. And that's not me saying we should bring him back. I'm just saying if he wasn't if it wasn't Ross Barkley, if it was somebody else.
It's what's really difficult, I think, is when you want to see your team, your club, constructing a new way of doing things, really. And Everton, we've all say it, everybody would say it, is that we all want younger footballers at the football club. I think we do. Ross Barkley's 28, I don't know when he's 29. He's 28 years of age. Now, if you're saying to me that he's free, then maybe. I don't know. Maybe. He comes in and does a job for 3 seasons on and off. As long as he's not on crazy wages. You know, he's played for Everton more than he played for anyone else, obviously. 150 games for Everton, 21 goals. Been capped 33 times by England. You know, to play with lots of experience. It's a tough one because of the way he left. It really is. It's a difficult one because it's not easy to just go, well, yeah, it's sound, just get him back. Get him back, because, you know, it was so frustrating because there was no, for me at the time, there was no need for it. There was no need for the split. Do you think
he left any worse than what Franny Jeffers left or Wayne Rooney left?
I think you know what, right, if he'd have gone in that August when it looked like he was gone, I think people would have been disappointed he'd gone. But you'd have looked and gone to Chelsea and they've offered, people keep telling me it was 35 million, it wasn't, it was 25 million what Chelsea offered, and it would have been 5 million add-ons if they'd have done whatever, which ironically Everton probably would have got now because they won the Champions League. But I think people would have just gone, well, yeah, all right, because of the way it played out, and he come back and all that, but he failed his medical because of the hamstring injury, so Chelsea probably never going through with it anyway. That's the thing that's upset people, and rightly so. It's damaged Everton financially because we lost out on at least £10 million. And probably more likely 12, 13 million was the real figure, what we lost out on with the man going on. But for him, if you fail a medical and someone says go back and get fit and then we sign it again in January, it's one of them. So if that wouldn't have happened, I think people would have been a lot more open to him returning. I think the fact that it did happen, and that can't be changed, it did happen, then that's why people have got a real issue with it. And I wouldn't criticise any Evertonian who's got an issue with it, none whatsoever.
But on the age point, Everton, what we've done so far this summer, we're not looking, are we, at 22-year-old midfielders from France and Austria and Germany and Belgium?
Well, we've bought in James Tarkowski, 29. Okay, it's round centre back. We got Sylvain Distin when he was 29, I think, and he was outstanding for 7-8 years. Right, so Tarkowski, fine, no issue with that. Vinagre, 23. Dwight McNeil, 22. And if the next one's Ross Barkley, 28. Okay, Garner, he's not 29 till December, Ross. Okay, you've got Garner who's 32. But if that's for 1 or 2 years, then and what if Everton are really, and think this is where Everton could communicate slightly better, and maybe Kevin Thelwell will when the transfer window's shut. He might come out and go, the reason what we've done this summer is because we've needed to claw some of the money back. We didn't have a big pot of money to spend. It hasn't moved away from what our ideals are, which are young, hungry players, but we've had to pad the squad out, and there was a couple of players there, 2 or 3 players there on fees or low fees that we thought would help us for now and make the squad absolutely, stronger as we move forward. And if that's the case, and that's what their thinking is, but the longer term goal is to recruit younger footballers that have got resale value and that can help the team grow, then fine. But I will repeat again, there's a couple of things at Ross Barkley. One, he's 6'2". He's a physical presence, he's a big lad, and Everton haven't got too many of those physical presences. 2, He travels really well
Well,
with the ball.
essentially,
and we don't have anybody who runs with
essentially,
the
if
ball
he did sign, he'd be replacing Andre Gomez.
I'd rather have Barkley.
So if Everton could get rid of Gomez and get rid of his wages and get a small fee for him, and then say Chelsea say, we'll pay half of his wages for you to have him.
He's only got a year left.
No, that's what I'm saying. He might be on loan for the year. It might be one of them.
Like Gareth Barry type.
Yeah.
Pay a nominal fee if you sign him.
No, I don't even think. I can't even imagine it would be that. I think Chelsea just want shut. I can't imagine Chelsea being that bothered. I mean they are bothered. They want to, but Chelsea just don't seem to be. They just want bodies out by the looks of it.
Well, it's wages, isn't it? It's wages.
And if they say you pay half his wages and you get him for the season, and then Everton can make a decision at the end of the season whether they want to keep him or not.
And that, I guess it'll be similar with the Trisha Gay, won't it? That's exactly the same thing. Paris, he's 11 months left on a deal. They want him off the wage bill. Might be a similar situation. They pay a bit and Everton swallow it up. But I think the thing, if that's the case, then that's the case. If Everton could get Gomez out the door and Barkley's his replacement, okay. If Everton can get, maybe Everton get Allen out the door and Garner's his replacement, then they'll cut too big. No, but that's I think that's what it might be.
Yeah.
Is that, and that's not me calling Allen. I just mean if Allen's 30, 31,
and they can make some money.
They can make some money, or at least reduce the wages and stuff. Then why not? You know, why wouldn't they do that? Because Allen at the moment is in that no man's land, I think, with us, but where he's not going to be the 6 we want him to be. He's more like someone who wants to press, but I think they'd have the Corey doing that and others. Yeah. So if Everton could replace, if Allen came in for Garner, say, or Garner came in for Allen, and Barkley come in for Gomez, then maybe it wouldn't be as bad a thing as what people say. But I understand people being upset with Ross Barkley, and I understand people not wanting them back. Got a thing, how many league appearances that? 32 league appearances in 3 years for him. So he's got a lot left in the tank.
Yeah, I think so.
Are we at that stage where we do have to just go, well we need
we're not,
he's better than what we've got.
Let's get away from thinking that we are going to bring in some 22, 23-year-old from Europe. We're not clearly. We're not looking in those directions. We're clearly not looking in those directions.
You want Onana, who's a different player, any? Onana, we've got the song.
For the song.
We got the song.
No, but
you want him, but his price tag has put Everton and West Ham off at the moment. So
we are looking round at what we can get for the next year, and then for the year, then you can start looking at your targets properly over the course of a season. And it's not ideal, of course it's not. You can tell we're doing that because if we're going to Burnley in 1 minute we're asking for Corney, and the next minute we're getting Dwight McNeil, then clearly we're just trying to bring bodies in of a certain type without really nailing. We haven't had, apart from Tarkowski, I would imagine a real target this summer. You know, Brozier, of course, if it ends up, that will have been the long term one, and we'll have played the long game with that. But I think those other positions, it seems clear that we haven't gone, 3 or 4. We've gone, we want him, and him, and we're going out to get them. I wouldn't say it was scattergun. I think what we've got is a list, and we're just working through the lists. But they're obviously all very, they're all localised players, aren't they? They're all players we're all a little bit used to. They've all been playing Premier League, so I don't see a Barkley or a Garner as anything different from what the stopgaps. And that'll annoy a lot of people. I appreciate that. They are stopgaps. But I think with the finances, and we are getting to like we said loads of times, we're getting to the part of the window now where it'll start opening up for us because more and more clubs, us included without, are going to start taking better offers, I think. It wouldn't surprise me if Gomez left on a 2-year loan that someone else paid his wages. It just would, and I don't mean that right now. I mean maybe in 3 weeks' time that might happen. Do you know what I mean? When we just we don't want you, we haven't played yet, we want you to leave, and we want you to get on with it. If no one offers, I think you're going to start getting more and more deals that suit the buying club rather than the selling club. Because I think the selling club, it's at the beginning of the window, isn't it? When
people just want players out.
Yeah.
And if we get someone, even if they took 2/3 of Gomez wages off us, then we'd be happy with, wouldn't we? Just to get them out the door. Ideally, you'd get a fee for them and you'd sell them and all that, but it's whether you can get that.
The idea of getting, I mean, I've seen silly,
there was some
20 million.
Yeah,
There's
well,
not a
that's just
chance
people-
on earth.
That's just berserk people putting nonsense up on Twitter. I'm running with it. But yeah.
But this is now clearly our bit of the window, isn't it? I think.
At the end of the day, it is the thingy. It is. It's frustrating because we are where we are, and all of us would have, or most of us would never have envisaged this when we started spending the money. Because you hope that if someone would have said to us in 2016, this fella's going to spend £600 million, you'd have expected to be in the Champions League. You would have. I'd have expected.
I think we have to get past that now, though. I think we have to get past that.
I know, but I'm saying, so we are where we are now.
Yeah.
So right now, if where we are leads us to Ross Barkley, Ghana, Gerard Deulofeu, and Romelu Lukaku coming back, then that's the way.
I've heard Ronnie Goodless.
John Stones. No, listen, it is what it is. Like I said, I think
the days of worrying, though, what we have spent in the past are gone. I think we've dealt with that already. We know. We're fully aware of what we've spent and where it's all gone wrong. I think there's a different regime now at the football club in terms of who's buying the players and who's looking for the players and who the manager is, and we just have to look at that like now where we are right now and not worry about what's been spent. You know a lot of what was spent on is gone, has left the club now. You know, we've already gone through the full cycle, so there's no point worrying about that. We have to look at it in the short term over the next, and we've said that loads of times. It is very much a short term thing. It is about the next 2 years. It is about being a Premier League team and staying in the mid-table for the next couple of years and getting that FFP sorted so we can start competing. And then when that FFP drops, if it drops the way we want it to drop, being in a position where we can take advantage of it and be looking for those good up and coming players. And I think that's got to be the next thing.
Gotta be. It's gotta be. We have got to do what we've got to do, and that's the way it is. Luke says, baffles me how many people welcome Benitez in, but would not welcome Barkley back. A footballer's career is short-lived, and he's moved on and won trophies. Mr. Jeffrey says, I honestly don't want Barkley back. He's lost it. But Michael Clavering says, get Garner, Barkley, and Corney. Michael says Garner never stops running. Absolutely right. Some talk about Dwight McNeil in the comments. Mark Burton really doesn't want him. Tells him to go somewhere else, which is fine.
He's not in the comments, don't worry.
Jack says I'd take Garner, Ross and Deulofeu back in a heartbeat. Yeah. That's just, it is what it is, isn't it? Football Matters says Ross Barkley is a dud. Okay, we'll see. Listen, the other thing is like the 5 subs thing and all of that as well. That comes into play. But we'll just have to see, won't we? Who's just said here and gone. Joe Edwards says, Joe Edwards, should he be training? Says, what's Pienaar up to? What a player, by the way, Stephen Pienaar. What a footballer. Over on Premier, let's just refresh that. I put a poll out actually just about Dwight McNeil today, just how everyone was feeling about it. It's had 2,500 views, interactions even. 58% said good. They're quite happy with the McNeil signing. 38% went with the meh. And
what was that on
Twitter? And 4%
on YouTube, it's
4% went with bad.
On YouTube, we put a poll out saying, "Would you be happy with McNeil?" And 1.3 thousand votes. 60% no.
Wow, just shows you, doesn't it?
There's one on our account that's 61% yes on Twitter as well. Interesting.
So there you go. So half and half, innit? Roughly, if you're looking at, the swingometer.
It doesn't really matter, he signed.
Oh, yeah, makes no difference. Makes absolutely no difference what we say. Just that he's here anyway. Carl really doesn't want him. Says, please give me some good news that McNeil has fallen through. No. Nope. Richard says, afternoon lads, looking forward to plenty of arguments about rainbow laces and gangsters moles over the next few days. Stephen,
well, Paige could give Ross Barkley the tour of Liverpool via a taxi.
Be interesting.
That would be tremendous content.
Paige
Content.
in taxis, yeah.
Not fake taxis, by the way.
No. Stress that Paige
taxis.
is not being in a fake taxi.
She just has a habit.
She likes to argue
murder with Liverpool taxi
drivers. Yeah, she likes. Stephen Lamb says who's coming back next. Aiden Tal.
I mean, always saying.
Give Tal a
we
chance.
do have a weird thing of bringing back ex-players,
Love
don't we? Or being linked with them.
Thrive on
Where
it.
do you think that romanticism comes from at the football club?
God knows. We did remember us bringing Andy King back though when I was a kid.
We nearly bought Bob Latchford back.
Bob Latchford almost came back. Just something Everton have always done. Dave Hickson apparently had come back.
Dave Hickson came back,
in his thing, and I think it's just something Everton have done throughout the years. It's always, we brought Alan Harper back. I think, it's just happened. It's something that Everton have kind of done throughout their history. Is always bringing people back, hasn't it? Whether the certain person you were talking about was there or not, Everton have tended to do that, haven't we? We brought Manny Fernandez back. Landon Donovan. So listen, it goes on and on and on. Anna.
Jose Baxter.
Big Jose, he come back. So, there you go. Michael Branch.
We pointed out when we were in America that obviously Jose Baxter gets a mention in the national anthem. Ned was all over it. So
there you go. Derek says he wouldn't be crazy about Barkley coming back. He has skill, but often didn't make good decisions. Yeah, that's correct. Carl says, how do our current signings and links bear any relation to the comments from Paul Clement about having an exciting season based on who we're buying? And Mashiri saying, judge him at the end. Unless Mashiri pulls Neymar and Mbappe out of Ken Wright's sphincter on the final day, I think it's fair to say we can safely judge this as the usual failure. But Carl, what did you expect? Really? It's out there for everybody to see. And it's been for months that Everton didn't have loads of money to spend this transfer window. It's been out there for months. We sold Richarlison and we've struggled to bring people in because of we're trying to spread what little money we've got. So I get it. If Paul Clement talked about wanting fast, exciting players, of course he did. But no one's going to sit there and go, I hope we bring in boring, slow, predictable players, are they? Or we bring in players who've been here before. He's going to talk about the ideals, isn't he? He's going, in an ideal world, we're going to try and bring this and this in. Everyone talks about that. Mashiri can say, judge me at the end of the window all he wants. If Everton bring in half a dozen players, he'll turn around and go, I've brought in 6 players to strengthen the squad. What are you talking about? You were all moaning that they haven't brought anyone in and we brought 6 in or whatever. That's what he would say. Whether you think they're good players or not, or I think they're good players or not, he wouldn't look at it like that. He'd say the manager's asked for the squad to be strengthened and I've strengthened it. I'm quite sure if Everton's FFP was nil, as in we could do what we want, Everton would have bought different footballers in this window. Absolutely. And Mashiri would have spent money. I'm absolutely certain of that as well. I don't think it's him. It's not him not wanting to spend money. It's someone's actually told him at the football club, you can't keep spending money because we can't balance it with everybody. You just see what's happened with the Premier League and all that. Gare says, does any other club have the preoccupation with former players that Everton have? Guy isn't the number 6 we need. Barkley's not the player he was. If the formation is 3-4-3, the midfield too isn't being improved. Kev says we've got a diamond called Ross Barkley. More upset about Tarkovsky wearing the number 2. Martin says, in the current situation, we really can't go all out and get what we need, so we all know what Barkley did. It's just a case of welcoming back and hoping he performs on the pitch. Him and Garner will vastly improve our midfield, so I can't grumble. Gary Ward says, howdy. Anthony says if he comes back, the fans' reaction will be interesting. Ralph says Barkley coming in is nothing. Come on, we've had Rafa as the manager. Now that big time, and how much did it cost to sack him?
Very true.
Dave Simpson loves the McNeil signing. Steve Kelly says, all right, lads, hope you both well. I think if we can bring in Garner and another centre mid and get rid of two big earners like Gomez and Allen, I think in the long run it might stand us well. It's obviously going to be short-term pain for long-term gain by getting the wage budget down. That's my hope anyway. Maya says, for me, the issue with Barkley wasn't the way he left. He's simply not good enough. How on earth we've got to this point where we're replacing Barkley and Garner with Barkley and Garner? We've had good times. Steve Lamb says, I think our best signing in the last 12 months has been Frank himself. I'm feeling a lot more confident with him in charge to sort it all out eventually. He's young, ambitious, and feel he'd speak to previous managers he's worked under for a bit of advice. Lou says, do you think McNeil will be signed in time to play tomorrow night? I imagine that's the hope.
Yeah.
To get him some minutes tomorrow night. Just see what happens. Says, suppose you've got to ask yourself who you'd rather have playing in midfield, Davies, Gomez or Barkley. I know who I'd choose. David Fry says, think we should sign Todd Cantwell. And how come we weren't in for Joe Aribo on only cost Southampton $6 million? Because it depends what the recruitment team have seen, or Frank Lampard, doesn't it? You mightn't think he's any good, or he doesn't shoot what Everton wants or something, I don't know. The golfer says Barkley can carry the ball, even though I'm not his biggest fan because of his history screwing the club. It is something we need. Kev Murphy says can't be arsed with seeing Ross in town before game. Yeah. That's the thing, isn't it? Giants Evertonian says Alan will be able to play in a more forward role with Garner mopping up behind him. Cam, yes. I brought them in now, mate. They're in my car. So, yes. Get in next week and get them. Talking about his sprinkles. There you go.
Sprinkle chat on Toffee TV.
Mark M
You're
says,
telling me we went all the way to Walmart in the middle of nowhere to buy sprinkles and he didn't even take them on?
For his mum. Scandalous. Michael says, what do you think Morelos should cost from Rangers in his last year? Don't know, 5 or 6 million in his last year of his contract. Bruno says, get Ozzy to throw his shin pads back on. Someone just said could have gone for Conor Gallagher, but Everton have inquired about Conor Gallagher and they're told
Conor Gallagher's going to play games.
Well, that's Chelsea and told Chelsea are using him, so that's why he's not here. So Silver's talking about him 2 days ago. Said he could be a big player for us.
Yeah.
Afternoon, lads. Ped used the word underwhelmed last night, and I'd feel the same. Trying to remind myself we bought players from lower leagues, Lescott, Cahill, Jags, and players out of form like Arteta and Pina in the past and progressed. Hopefully, if McNeil and Barkley do come in, they're hungry to prove people wrong. I think the thing with Dwight McNeil is that I think he's going to come in. It's a big club, the biggest club he's ever played for. He's going to come in and work hard, whether he's, whatever happens from there. I don't think we can say he's not going to come in and be hungry and want to do well, because I think he will. Barkley's slightly different, but I don't know. Gray Leeds had just seen Dwight McNeil's on $5,000 a week at Burnley. About the same amount a year.
I'm not sure that's true. From what? But a lot more than that.
I don't think he's on what you said he was.
Dwight McNeil is the modern day Kevin Kilban. I've told you this.
There you go. Lawson just says, think McNeil could be a good signing, but does Thelwell know that other teams than Wolves and Burnley? You can only ask him that, can't you? Gary says if they can improve the team in the short term, then by all means bring them in. Matthew Barry says, afternoon lads, hope you're well. Hello Matthew. Need to speak to you Matthew actually. It's clear the club are just trying to consolidate this season and buy time to look for the type of players that will progress us in time. Garner is a great signing if we can get it done. Barkley will have a lot to prove if he comes back. A midfield three of Garner, Decore and Barkley is very mobile. It is mobile, I'll give it that. Where will McNeil? Will McNeil then... Would it be a 4-3-3 then, and McNeil will play on the right and Gordon on the left? Interesting. What it'd do is it'd give you options, wouldn't it? It'd give Everton options to play different formations, I guess. Steve Bryant says, hi guys, given the situation we're in financially, I don't think we can afford to be precious about players. And by that, what I mean is, don't think you need to put aside any personal feelings we have and focus on what's best for the team. Okay. Gray Lead says, on episode 6 of that Dope Sick on Disney Plus, my word, I knew the oxytocin addiction epidemic in the US was big, but it looks terrifying. Corporate greed, backhanders and unwillingness by the FDA to admit they were wrong. I mean, that's been slid in there in almost like a Ned fashion. It's been massively into a Ross Barkley and Dwight McNeil discussion. Yes. Stuart says, I wouldn't be so quick to disregard Alan. Like the Duke, he can be a different player with an actual DM behind him. No, I'm just saying he's got a year left, Alan, hasn't he? Or 11 months left on his deal. If Everton want to get him off, he's 31. If Everton want to get him off the wage bill, then it wouldn't be the way. I like Alan, think he's been a decent signer for Everton, but if we want to try and cut the wage bill down, then, and you were bringing Garner in, then it makes sense for me to replace him with Garner. Because they're similar age, but Garner's a lot more mobile. Chris says, all right, lads, let's all just get behind McNeil and stop over-analysing his abilities. Well, everyone's going to do it, aren't they? I very much doubt we did this when we signed the likes of Alan Harper and Neil Poyton.
Didn't sign them for 15 to 20 million, though, did we?
Ralph says, just seeing on Twitter, the Yak is only 27. He's not. He's 37. It's just someone messing around. Alfie Boy says, Dwight, not very good. I'm paraphrasing here. Of course, he's the winger they choose to sign, and then we replace Garner and Barkley with an aged Garner and Barkley. Anyone who's expecting anything other than a relegation battle needs to smell the coffee. We'll see, won't we? We'll see, Alfie. You may well be right. You may well be spectacularly wrong. Let's see what happens. But I expect you to come on and hold your hand up if you're spectacularly wrong. Tom says, best way to follow Everton is to take blind, positive perspective and hope something good happens. Reality is it's reactionary and emotional decisions consistently made in recruitment. Stability will come short term, but no long-term progression. Yeah. And Tom says, another good way is to come off social media and stick to Toffee TV Premier. You need to come in, Tom, as well, by the way. You need to rearrange that. Derek says, my issue with McNeil is not the player, it's the potential price. I think he's worth the money if it was around 10. Could be a creative force for us with the skill set he has. I think 15's right. More than that. If it's add-ons, then you go, all right, but it is mad, isn't it?
Do you think it could be more, though, because the initial fee up front is low?
Possibly, and you spread it that way. Possibly. I mean, it's been done quite quickly, hasn't it? Don't know. God knows. Grayley says, I'm always sliding in. Stuart says, does anyone know how likely Gibbs White is signing for us? And if not, why not?
Money.
I think it's very unlikely now. Right now, what I've been told, it's money. Simple as. Wolves wanted more money and we weren't prepared to pay it. And we've all sat here and gone, there must be a fee which Everton move away from. Yeah. Lots of people were fuming that they bid 25 million, like absolutely fuming. And now some of those same people are absolutely fuming that we didn't just pay what we needed to get him. So, Patrick says there can't be anybody kidding themselves about Barkley. It's not about ignoring where we are or about being precious. He's not what Everton's midfield needs unless they desperately want another injury-prone player with a knack of making dreadful decisions on the ball.
Is he injury prone?
I don't know whether he is injury prone.
I think
can see the logic in McNeil and even Garner, but the Barkley one, if there's genuine.
I just don't think he played. I just don't think
Chelsea just
didn't play him. I don't think he's injury prone.
Played.
And I do think he's got something the rest of the midfield don't have, is that he can carry the ball.
Played 24 games for Villa in the Premier League. So, I don't know whether he is injury prone. You might be able to tell me better. I know he's only played that many league games, John, but I don't think it's out of being injured. I think it's out of not getting in a team that was winning Champions Leagues and stuff. No kind of disgrace in not being able to get into a Champions League winning team. And I'm not advocating them. Yeah, he did, yeah. I'm not advocating whether we should get him or not. I'm just saying. Dennis says, Baz, how the 23s looking this season? Well, the 21s this year, Dennis. I don't really know. Because we'll have to let everything settle down. Obviously, Tyler Onyango has gone to Burton on loan, so they've lost him. They're not sure what they're doing with Lewis Warrington at the moment, but I imagine he's going to go out on loan. I think Isaac Price will play in the 21s this season. Stanley Mills will probably remain and play in the 21s. They'll have a couple of lads stepping up from the 18s last season as well. Obviously, the likes of Reece Welsh, Eli Campbell will still be in there. So it'll be interesting to see what Paul Tate does with them this season. And particularly in the forward areas as well. Does Dobbin go out on loan? Does Dobbin stay training with the first team but playing in the 21s? Obviously, Ellis Sims is going to go to Sunderland. Tom Cannon. What
about the kid? What about the kid we got from Sunderland? Is he ready to step up?
Okoronkwo.
Yeah, is he ready? Think he's ready to step up?
I reckon he'll play 21s this year. Yeah. He's a big lad. He can play wide. He's quick. Scored some lovely goals in the Youth Cup last season. So I imagine he will come into the 21s this season, and he'll be
take the space.
Have the space, and then obviously the younger lads will probably go into the 18s as well. Obviously they lost Emilio Lawrence. He's money grabbing. I mean, he's gone off to Manchester City on big money, so fair play to him. But him leaving gives one of the other younger kids, Martin Sheriff or someone like that opportunity to improve and take that position. So it'll be interesting to see how they do, obviously under Paul Tate, and Baines obviously having the 18s now all to himself. So Jacob, there's a link in the description underneath. If you go to the description there, says become a Premier member, I think. Does it? No, it doesn't. We'll change it on this. It says get exclusive videos. That link is there. So just click on that, mate, and you'll know what to do. SpongeBob says we all know Richie will be back to Everton in 2 years. It's an Everton thing. Though? It's an Everton thing. Wouldn't surprise me.
I think he'll do well at Spurs. He's got the right attitude.
A
lot of talk about Harry Kane leaving in the last couple of weeks, last week, as well.
Where though?
Bayern Munich. Lots of talk about. No. Honestly, there's a little bit of.
Well, no, he wants to go
because Lewandowski's gone, and
he wants to go, doesn't he?
There'll be a little bit of when you're just there, people talk about someone. It's just like
keeps mounting.
Well, we know
he's done. Yeah, he's obviously been fantastic with Spurs, and he's got them in the Champions League again and all that. But they're still nowhere near Liverpool and City, are they? And he might be looking. Arsenal have spent a lot of money, and there's Chelsea have got, so he might be looking and going, well, if I go to Bayern, I've won a league because they win it every year. So there's a trophy. I'm in the Champions League, guaranteed, no matter what. And they do very well. They've got obviously Mane's there as well, and they've got made some smart signings this summer Bayern. So maybe, but they'd have to spend big, and I don't know whether they've got the money to spend big, and whether the only way he would go is if Levy agreed to let him go this summer if he stayed last summer instead of going to City. If I was United, he'd be you up by.
Well, he never signed the contract, did he? So
no, he didn't.
It's one less year on his contract.
One less year, but what I'm saying is they refused to let him go last summer.
Oh, yeah.
But if I was United, he would be the one I'd make to play for this summer, because I think he's clever enough and a good enough footballer to play in Ten Hag's team. Absolutely, because he drops into that space, doesn't he? Be great for Bayern Munich. He'd score loads of goals.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
but let's be honest, he's not leading Son, if we're perfectly honest. Sorry, I'll just do the refresh there. the refresh. Michael says, I hope we get them all in, but I'm a bit worried we don't have a striker, just dominant. Well, they will get it. They will defo get a... Well, hang on. Let's rephrase that. They will definitely try to get another forward. I said the other day, a couple of days ago, they've been watching Martin Terrier for a while. But he is a wide forward. But again, the money's a little bit... might stop that happening. Brozier's one who they like. We know that. And the longer it goes on, and he doesn't want to go anywhere, he doesn't move anywhere, and West Ham are out of the picture now, I think Everton have got a really good chance of getting him. And maybe that's what they're hanging on for. Now, whether or not he's perfect, he's not, obviously, but he's a good prospect. He's dangerous with the ball. He's big. You'd hope that he'd do a bit of a Dominic Calvert-Lewin and improve on the year before. And if he does that, then I think we'd have a real good player on our hands. And he's a player for me that I think Everton could buy as well as if they don't buy him this summer, if it's a loan, he's someone a bit like Lukaku that I think Chelsea would look at and sell us to him. And whether that has a buyback in it or whether it has a sell on or whatever, he's one I could see ending up at Everton if they got him on loan first, very much like Romelu Lukaku, because I just don't see him making that jump where Chelsea look at him and go, yeah, he's ready for us. I just don't see that with him. Might take 2, 3, 4 years before that. Where Lukaku, don't forget, had gone to West Brom and got 18 goals and then come to Everton and got 18 goals and then they still went, not sure. Yeah. You know, so there's a lot of Terrier jokes in the comments about him being, a bit of bite to him and he's a bit of a dog and that kind of stuff. Rob Key says these dog jokes are rough.
There you go.
Rob's gone there, right?
There.
The last Premier, they've got to say the Premier comments, haven't they? You'd literally pay for them. Stuart Lowe says he's heard Alex Cleland is at Finch Farm. Patrick said he ended this last season injured, had lots of niggles of Villa. His ability to carry the ball has dwindled a fair bit, never got over that.
He scored on the last day of the season.
Scored, yeah. Did score the winner, didn't he? That being said, same goes for Garner. If it's him in, Gomez out, you could argue there's a slight improve. Whoa. A slight improve, Patrick. I know you know your football, but a slight improvement? Come on. There is a mega improvement. It just reek of panic. Well, at the end of the day, they are where they are. And if they are where they are with a small pot and these players are available and Frank Lampard thinks if I get these players in, then we're going to be sound and we don't have to worry about that. And we'll use the next 12 months to refresh this. Maybe that's what they're going to do. Don't forget, a lot of this planning, and should in normal clubs, it would be taking place anyway. Our club is anything but normal, but I guess Kevin Thelwell has been trying to put things in. We know he has. He's been changing things as we were going through the season. But the way Everton were, Everton's plan, we said this, Everton's planning couldn't be too far ahead because they didn't know what division we were in until the last 3 days of the league. So you're behind on everything. Whereas if Everton could see in January that they were not getting relegated, they could make firmer plans. Then maybe that's the thinking. I don't know. Tom says if Barkley comes back with the tail between his legs looking to kick on and the conditions of the deal are on our terms, then it's a yes from me. Worried about McNeil. We already have forwards like Gordon who are really poor when it comes to being productive. Don't know Gordon's XG, but McNeil's was 5 last season, so not great. That's his XG for assists, by the way, yeah. Gray Lead says McNeil created 47 chances last season, which was more than any other Everton player. Gray Lead says if you had to get a 6 and a 4 from League One for 25 million, who would you get off the top of your head? For 25. Terran Moffey, I would go and get, I think he's 22. He's a little bit raw, but he's powerful, left-footed striker. And the 6, the 6s I like, they've moved them on. You see, Fofana, I really like in Monaco, but you're not getting him for less than 18, 19 million. don't know, because I think Mathew's going to be around 15, 16 million, to be honest. So another one for 10 million. I'd have to have a look, because I had a list of 6 and 5 of them have gone.
Mm.
So leave that with me, Gray, and I will come back to you at 5 o'clock on the live at 5. Right, that is us done. Thank you all for joining us. Thanks for subscribing if you have. If you want to knock that like on the way out, we would appreciate it. Thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your day. And yeah, Everton may be announcing another signing this afternoon. Who knows? Watch out. See you later.